Hey everyone, it's good seeing you again. So I've been reading a lot of fiction books, and I'm sure you have a bunch of fiction books at home, but I wanted to make sure that I also had nonfiction books. So today I'm going to be reading you guys a story called Rocker's Extreme Weather. And the reason I picked this story is because I love just all the pictures in it, and I got this as a gift when I first became a teacher. So, Al Rocker is a weatherman, and he, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the book itself. So, this part right here is called a synopsis or a summary, and you guys know what that is. Summary of what the book is, except for they don't give away the whole thing. And then especially in fiction stories. And then normally that would be, it could be on the back as well, but sometimes I put it here. Dive deep into the world of weather phenomena that has mesmerized people for centuries. Covering a wide range of events and topics, this fascinating book helps readers explore the world around them as they learn about the conditions that trigger weather occurrences like spider lightning, derechos, and fogsicles. With the book's shocking facts and breathtaking pictures, kids will discover all kinds of weather they never knew existed. And who better to lead this journey of discovery than everyone's favorite meteorologist, Al Roker? So, meteorologist, weatherman or weather person. And so that's what I want to kind of discuss with you guys today is things that we've never even heard of before. So, what is this called? This is our table of contents. And if you're looking through here, you might recognize a lot of these names, like thunderstorms. You guys know what thunderstorms are, and tornadoes. But derechos and dust storms, I know what a dust storm is, but what's a derecho? Never heard of that. So I'm going to go and learn more about that. And I'm going to go to page 16 to do that. Okay. Whoa. So I'm going to read this part in the middle, and then I might read some of these other ones too. Derechos and dust storms. Have you ever noticed after a thunderstorm has passed that the air is colder than it was before the storm started? Or maybe you've seen before a storm arrives, trees blowing in the wind. When rain pours from thunder clouds, it brings cold air down with it. The cold air has to go somewhere, so it moves along the ground, causing wind. The front edge of a storm, where cold air meets warm, is called the gust front. A windstorm with gusts faster than 58 miles per hour and that causes damage along a line of at least 250 miles is called a derecho. Oh, so it's like a really, really big dust storm or windstorm. One derecho that struck Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas in 2001 packed gusts of fast as 100 miles per hour. Winds at the speed can pull shingles and shutters off of houses and break branches and knock out power to homes. When a windstorm occurs over dry sand or soil, it picks up loose dirt, creating a dust storm of haboob. A haboob combines the deadly power of wind and swirling clouds of dust. They are particularly dangerous for drivers. Not every windstorm is caused by thunderstorm conditions. Chinooks happen in an area near steep mountains. Warm, dry air picks up speed as it blows down along the slope of the mountain and hits the valley with devastating force. One Chinook wind that struck Boulder, Colorado in 1982 damaged 40% of the building and town. A week later, in the nearby town of Fort Collins, a Chinook wind blew through with gusts up to 140 miles per hour. So I'm going to show you guys this picture right here. You can kind of see what it would look like to, can you imagine just a big old wall of wind coming? Who knows what that would, I can't imagine. We maybe have seen more things like this. where there's been damage after the wind, but to see it beforehand is crazy. What is wind speed anyway? I'm going to read about this down here. A car traveling down the highway can maintain the exact same speed for a long period of time, so it's easy to say how fast it's going, but wind rarely travels at a steady rate. To help give a better picture of what conditions are really like in a storm, meteorologists measure a few different kinds of speed. Gust speed is the fastest speed measured. Depending on the situation, this speed might need to last for several seconds or for as little as 1. Sustained wind speed is an average of speeds recorded over a period of 2 minutes. Maximum sustained wind and the highest wind speed that lasts for at least 1 minute. So pretty much all that wind speed is coming from several different tests that they're taking. Alright, well, how nonfiction books work, we don't have to stay in order. So I'm going to go back to the table of contents and see what other words I don't know. Let's see, so we learned about derechos, which were windstorms, like big ones. There's hailstorms, winter storms, tropical cyclones. Well, I know cyclone means like it like swirls like this, so because a cyclone means circle. I want to learn more about that. And tropical sounds like something hot, and that's on page 22. Tropical cyclones. What does that look like? Alright, tropical cyclones. Warm ocean waters might be perfect for surfing and snorkeling, but they can also spawn the world's most destructive storms, tropical cyclones. When ocean temperatures reach 80 degrees Fahrenheit and tropical winds blow, water from the ocean surface evaporates and rises to form clouds. Just like they do over land, rising air and moisture over water can turn into storms. Thunderstorms usually die out when cold dragged down by the rain and cuts off the storm sources of moisture. But warm oceans have plenty of fuel to keep a hungry storm going. Water vapors continue to rise, releasing its energy and creating strong winds. Tropical cyclones are usually about 50,000 feet high and 125 miles across, and pack winds traveling more than 74 miles per hour. The strongest storms are at 150 miles per hour. Wow. Tropical cyclones that form in the Atlantic and Northeast Pacific Oceans are called hurricanes. In the Northeast Pacific, they are called typhoons. In the Southern Pacific and Indian Oceans, they are simply referred to as cyclones. No matter what you call them, tropical cyclones can spell trouble for people who live near the oceans where they form. Who guessed that tropical cyclones were another name for hurricanes? I was seeing what you guys would know. So, pretty much how they're formed, if that was a little confusing for you, is that they have all this warm water, because this happens normally in the summertime, and it's so hot that there's no wind or anything, or there's no what are they saying? There's no vapor. There's no water vapor continues to rise, releasing its energy and creating strong winds. They have plenty of fuel, so the rain is not cutting it off. So the rain cuts off the storm source of moisture, but they have plenty of moisture because they're right there in the ocean. And these things get big, and when there's enough wind that's caused right above the ocean, it's able to create a hurricane. So these are some pictures. I'm going to read this chart down here. So when we look at a chart, we're going to read what the title says and everything else here first. Categorizing the wind. Scientists track tropical cyclones closely using radar satellite images and measurements taken by hunting aircraft to determine how dangerous the storm is. They use a special system called the Saffir-Simpson scale to rate the strength of the storm. So a Category 1 hurricane is 74 miles to 95 miles, and that's very dangerous winds and some damage. So when you're listening to the news or the weather, a lot of times they'll tell you when there's a hurricane going on, they'll say, oh, this is a Category 1 hurricane or a Category 2. So a Category 2, the winds get higher, and then the Category 3, they get higher and higher until all the way to a Category 6, which is 157 or higher. And the impact can be catastrophic damage. A high percentage of houses will be destroyed. So that means the wind is so strong that it can rip your house apart. That's crazy. So, let's see. Let's look at one more. Last one. One more word that maybe we don't see all the time or have heard. So we went through, we talked about the cyclones, dangerous. We've heard of droughts and fog and extreme heat and extreme cold. And we have aftermath, floods, wildfires, landslides, and avalanches. Well, I think you guys know what an avalanche is, but we never really hear of landslides. Is that land that slides? Let's find out on page 40. Landslides. Look at the pictures. What kind of prediction could you make? What do you think's happening? While downed trees and crumble houses are more obvious big storms, and fire can also cause problems where you may not think a lot below the soil. The landslides are giant cascades of boulder, rocks, loose dirt, mud, and other debris that come tumbling down hillsides when the structure that holds them up have been damaged. Heavy rains can eat away at the soil that supports rocks and trees, eventually leading to their collapse. When the force of gravity pushing down on rocks on a hillside becomes stronger than the support beneath them, they begin to slide. Landslides can move slowly, creeping down a hill by mere inches a year, or they can rip down a hill breakneck speeds of 200 miles per hour. So here's some pictures of that. Going with the flow. Because of their steep slopes, loose surfaces and tendency to rumble, volcanoes are common sites for landslides. So a lot of times, since the volcanoes already are unsteady, that's where land is going to start sliding and moving. When heavy rainfall hits soil that is already holding a lot of water, the water can souse down slopes and into valleys, carrying them along debris, soil, rocks on its path. Mudslides are also called debris flows, can be extremely dangerous to people and homes downhill, as they move very quickly and often without warning, burying everything in their path. Trees and other deep-rooted plants are the best defense against mud and soil slides. Since roots hold soil in place, hills are more likely to suffer mudslides in the years after a wildfire has damaged anchoring plants. A heat of wildfire can also change the surface of soil, making it harder and less absorbent, called hard pan. That means more water remains at the surface to run off and cause trouble for those downhill. So if you look at this picture, this is a hill where all these people live, and up here and over here kind of is more of the uphill, and like you see this landslide that just came straight through and just knocked all these houses down. A layer engulfs a neighborhood following an eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. So yeah. Alright, well that was our book about Al Rocker's extreme weather. Remember, with nonfiction books, you don't have to read the whole thing. Maybe you just want to read for a little bit. We read for 15 minutes, and that's totally fine. I miss you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.